Welcome to the Superhero News Network, guys. We are going to be talking about all your superhero needs today. I am Joe, joined with the new crew. The new crew. JP2.
What up?
And Tatiana. We have to. Is they telling us to scoot over? Move in. Oh, so you have to scoot over that way. All of us have to shift. All right.
Well, we've shifted.
So we shifted a little bit. All right. So what we're going to talk about is well, first before we even get into that, how's your guys' week's been? You did Riverdale last night. For your first
do Riverdale
episode.
for the first time. It was great. I know more about Riverdale than I thought I knew. So opened up new doors.
How about you? What have you been up to? How was your concert?
Super dope.
What was that, Drake?
Tim Drake?
Oh, Aubrey Graham. How was he?
Yeah, Tim Drake was holding it down. Give a shout out to Red Hood. It was amazing. LeBron came out. It was pretty hot.
Did LeBron really come out?
Oh, no, LeBron really did come out.
What for?
Because, Drake's performing at the Staples Center, so him and Drake are friends, and so he just, walked out for a part of the show.
Oh,
you know
that
what?
reminds me.
Go ahead.
No, I'm mad at Drake because he brought Chris Brown out at one show, and I was like, what are you doing?
Oh, yeah, on the Friday show.
Huh? Yeah.
Why don't like Chris Brown?
What? Are you asking why I don't like Chris Brown?
Yeah. What do you do?
Because he beat Rihanna. Please.
Yeah, I forgot. There was a rumor going around. That that Rihanna just got a little too close when he was dancing. But I don't know. That's why I'm just kidding.
Too soon.
Anyway.
Actually, so it's funny when I forgot all about that you were at the Drake concert. But when I got back to LA, my Lyft driver was like, I was in downtown. And I didn't want to take any rides because the Drake concert just got out. Mm-hmm. And I guess it was like a pretty big freaking deal.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Like, the drives back were super expensive. But what was crazy, though, is like, after I came back from that, I came back to the Comic Bug here in Manhattan Beach. And they had 24-hour comic day, so I came and kicked it with some friends of mine. They were here.
Did you do anything?
Nah, because it was too late. Like, by the time I got to the concert, it was like midnight. But what's dope is this shop does a bunch of cool sales. So they did a 50% off all the graphic novel sale, and I bought a ton of books.
Hey, I have a question for you, real quick. Why can I hear myself?
Oh, creepy.
Oh, look at that.
Echo.
All right, so I got a question for you. So, I don't want to say obviously. For all of you guys that don't know, Johnny creates comic books.
Ooh, I didn't even know.
You didn't know that?
That's exciting.
So, how many books do you have that are ongoing right now, and how many do you have in development?
Ongoing right now. Broken's ongoing. It's about to do his Kickstarter in like March. Teen Horror is ongoing. Is doing this Kickstarter probably like in June. Elvish is ongoing. So those are 3 ongoing series. Black vs. Brown Hand is completed, and I got about 2 properties that are in the works right now that I'm working on. One is a Power Rangers one, which I've kind of told you about a little bit. That's on like the low key that I'm having a lot of fun doing, and another one is like this Magic property that I'm working on that I'm like developing right now too.
That's awesome.
Nice, man. You're a busy life.
Try to be.
And you?
Yes, I don't make comic books.
You don't, but you're on the most popular Flash podcast in the universe.
In the universe.
So
it's called the Flash Podcast.
It is called the Flash Podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming you just saw this week's Flash.
I did, of course.
Do you want to give us, real quick before I get into our stories,
Sure.
It's going to lead into our first story, give us a little rundown where our boy Barry Allen's at in his life right now.
Well,
and is Iris dead yet? Please,
I will
CW
kill you.
gods,
I
say
will.
yes.
She's never going to die. Iris lives forever. She outlives everyone else. Stop. Anyway, Barry is training his daughter with Iris just to be around to give birth to this
Is that
child.
that clumsy chick that worked at the coffee shop?
The clumsy chick who worked at the coffee shop is their child. She wants to become a superhero just like her daddy. And the reason why she has not yet in her life is because her daddy is dead. And who is alive? Her mommy. So, mommy won't let her be a superhero in the future, we assume. We don't know what's going on. But she comes back to the past to get training from her dad.
So here's the thing, you've read like all the run, you read the Mark Waid run and everything like that. So you know, of course, about the Tornado Twins?
Yes,
like
of course.
the comics, those are like
I know the Tornado Twins.
Exactly. Right. So how do you feel about them only focusing on the daughter and not incorporating the Tornado Twins?
Okay, here's the thing. I have 2 theories. Theory A is that the reason that Nora is mad at her mom is because after Dawn, her brother, died, Iris wouldn't let her be a superhero anymore. And so we will find out later that he's dead also.
Oh.
Or, alternately, changing the, coming back to the past, change the timeline. So when Nora finally leaves to go back to the future, it'll be, surprise, Iris actually has twins, not one child.
I have a theory, too, about The Flash.
I will kill you.
No, it's a theory.
Okay, a real theory? Okay.
Well, I think my theory is The Flash gets canceled this year to make way for Superman.
I hate you.
So, speaking of Superman,
Walk into it.
speaking of Superman, CW is just revealed the first posters that we got of the big crossover. We know that it's called Elseworld now, and we already got a super chat by Toku Kid.
Oh,
he
Toku
says,
Kid.
Impulse is fun, so far, I mean, Nora said,
Impulse.
sorry.
Makes sense.
I will
Makes
complain,
sense.
though, that they called her XS. because that's Jenny Ogden's
Ooh,
name.
can't be doing that. Yeah, can't
Yeah,
be doing that.
exactly.
Can't be
So
doing that.
I'm
Can't be doing
hoping that
can't be
it's
doing
like passing it down to her daughter, eventually, like passing on the name, like the Flash gets passed down. So fingers crossed.
That'd be dope.
So our CW, the CW released the poster, our first look at this Elseworld, and I've seen a lot of funny ones mashed up lately. I've seen Caitlyn and Cisco switching. I've seen a ton of these. But let's talk about this Elseworld, Johnny. Take me down memory lane. We know the Elseworld comics usually are the DC's what ifs, right? We don't know exactly what they're going to be adapting, but we can assume it's going to be some sort of switching places of sorts. So give me a little rundown on what some of your favorite Elseworld stories are, and what do you possibly think this could mean for the future or for this episode?
The cool thing about Elseworlds, like you said, it's kind of like DC's answer to What If, and so it's pretty much when they give writers the free reign to like just again do whatever you want with the character. Like one of my favorite ones is like Red Sun, where like Superman's actually the spaceship actually crash lands like in the Soviet Union, and he grows up in Russia and whatnot, which is like this really cool story where you see him go up as a communist and all these type of things, but still become like the Man of Steel. And so that was like one of my personal favorite ones. But I'm looking forward to this though because again, it gives them a chance like to play around with things. And the dope thing about Elseworld stories are if they're really popular, we actually see those cross over to the main storyline. So if they introduce a cool idea here with this crossover they're doing, we might see that like in next season as actual like new character or some new storyline that stays around for a while.
Tatiana,
hello.
You're the Flash expert.
Yeah.
And I know that this threw you off a bit because it does kind of look weird with the Flash having a beard, number one. But number two, what do you expect from this big crossover?
Okay, well, for this part, I have a feeling it's a body swap. So, like, this part might not actually be on a different Earth.
Okay.
But, like, literally Barry and Oliver will, like, switch places for some reason.
Okay.
So, I mean, I expect a lot of fun shenanigans of, like, Freaky Friday situation.
Well, it's not going to be super fun because we don't have the Legends, and they're the most fun out of the bunch.
I think they're going to try to, like, this seems like they're going to try to Legends it up a bit,
I think it's a little racist that Black Lightning's not included as well.
Well, they don't want the Akhils don't want to be part of the Arrowverse. Okay, they're like, we are on another level. We don't need to be with you guys.
Probably true.
But anyway,
we did see Batgirl in that, or Batwoman in that picture, played by Ruby Rose.
And I love her costume.
I love her.
But she looks so close to like New 52 outfit, Rebirth outfit.
I just was watching Pitch Perfect 3, but the movie's terrible. But she's pretty good at it.
I was watching Triple X, The Return of Barry Cage, and she was like one of the best parts of it. It's like, you can carry some stuff by yourself, so you're good.
I'm excited to see. And I think that costume does look great. I think that overall, I'm really looking forward to this because they're saying there's a big rumor going out right now about this Elseworld storyline. Is that if Superman, if people really love Superman in this, then he's going to get his
evil overlord here. Or
no,
is he
I
just
think
emo?
I don't know. I think that maybe he died and he comes back. I don't know.
Right,
Because
because like that was the
exactly.
like the death of Superman.
Exactly.
Costume. Exactly.
So there's a rumor out there.
Well, that's dope.
It could be. So there's the rumor out there is that if the fans really take to him and they really like him, that he could be getting his own spinoff.
I mean, I think the fans already have
And we
proven
got-
that they love this Superman.
And they cast Lois Lane. I hate that Superman, by the way.
Wait,
you
do?
hate Tyler Hoechlin as
Wait,
Superman?
why?
Well, I think he looks the role. Here's two reasons why.
Okay.
Number one, he does not sound like Superman.
Okay.
He does not have the voice of a Superman.
Okay. All right.
His voice is a little too high for me to be like.
Well, he's living in disguise.
Even as Superman?
No, okay, maybe not. I don't.
He's a
remember what
great
he sounds
Clark
like
Kent.
as
He's a
Superman.
great Clark Kent, but he's not. I don't think he's a great Superman. The other one is that if you've noticed, like Superman to me has always been a bigger, like imposing figure.
Okay.
If you notice in that picture, he's shorter than everybody in it.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
And to me, because Christopher Reeve was 6'4", Brandon Routh was 6'3", Tom Welling was 6'3", Henry Cavill's 6'1".
Like Tom
right?
Cruise it.
He's like what, 5'11"?
Yeah, probably.
So.
I mean, I will say this though. I haven't watched like any of the Superman stuff that has been on like Supergirl with him showing up on there. But I will say that whenever I did see clips of it, he never did just like strike me.
Oh, really?
It's like the cool thing about it is that like other people who play Superman, like when I saw old boy who plays Superman in Justice League, when I saw him for the first time, I was like, oh,
Yeah, he looks.
that's Superman. That's Superman.
He
Right
looks.
there.
He looks exactly how
they
he
looked,
Exactly.
like that's the thing. Like they looked the part, but like they didn't get to be the part. You know, like Superman in Justice League, Superman in Batman vs Superman, etc. Like I don't come away feeling that's my Superman. And then even Brandon Routh, whom I love, I adore him, but he didn't get to say like 5 words in Superman Returns. So
Because
I would
that's
rather
an emo
have,
movie.
Yeah, I would rather have Tyler Hoechlin as written, the way he's being written.
Would you say? Because all right, let's. Who is your Superman? Because if I have to pick my Superman, it's Tom Welling from Smallville.
Yeah, of course, Tom Welling. Yeah.
I think Tom Welling from Smallville is Superman to me.
Yeah, I agree. Also, can I just say, like, I've been hearing
Dean Cain's a good one. Yeah.
Dean Cain.
Dean Cain is dope as hell.
First Asian Superman.
Exactly.
By the way,
And he beat Bo Jackson in basketball.
he did.
Well, there's that.
True story. I remember
That's
that.
pretty amazing. That was dope.
But yeah, I think, and also it's like sometimes he looks all right there, but it's like shave Tyler Hoechlin, shave. Sometimes you just gotta shave your fucking beard, man. No, Superman isn't. If he had a mullet, I'd be all in
Who
for
knew
that.
you
Though.
had so many strong feelings about this? Wow.
I'm a big Superman fan.
For me, old school, I do still appreciate Christopher Reeve because, again, that whole ad campaign, "You Will Believe a Man Can Fly."
Agreed.
Again, watching that first movie, him catch the helicopter, it's like he's like, "I got you," and she's like, "Who's got you?" And it's like it still has this like magic to it and everything like that. But damn, I got to give credit where credit's due. That was like 5 minutes of Henry Cavill being Superman in Justice League.
I agree.
Every time I see it, it does kind of warm my heart and everything like that. I always go back to that scene with the Flash. Where he's like, "You take the left, I'll take the right." Flash is like saving that one truck, and Superman comes saving the building. It's like, that's Superman. That is Superman right there.
Yeah, I know. I agree with that. It's funny because I didn't really like the Justice League movie, but what it did get right was their version of Superman once they got to the fight.
Exactly.
And I think that even with him being like, I really want to live, like him kind of being this jokey old jovial guy, but then also knowing that he could go into a fight and beat the shit out of Steppenwolf. It's a different dynamic.
And only that though, he could smile.
He could smile.
That was
Right.
the crazy thing
that's
about
the thing.
it.
If they had let him be that way for
Yeah.
the movies, then that would be a different story.
Exactly, because that was the crazy thing about it. Was like when you saw him like smile, crack a joke, save people,
Right.
actually save
God forbid.
people. You were like, okay, that's actually Superman.
We got another super chat, guys. Topic Kid says, how does Elseworld play into the Flash finale? We'll talk about that in a second, but just to let you guys know, the super chat, what that does, helps support the show. But what it also does, it keeps your comments right then and there, and that's where we call you guys the elite, the elite. Thank you guys so much for super chatting us. But how do you think Elseworld is going to play into the Flash finale?
Into the Flash finale or the mid-season finale?
The mid-season finale.
Yeah, because one thing is we know that the Anti-Monitor is going to be there, and the Anti-Monitor.
How cool is that?
Sorry, the Monitor, which means the Anti-Monitor, which means Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Oh wow,
That's crazy.
They're going big.
And that's what we've always assumed that the newspaper means for Barry.
Of
so
course,
now
yeah.
we know that Barry is disappearing. It's been established in the show. And
Oh,
Iris,
yeah, like for a season.
yeah, and
Jumping
Iris was
down,
like,
wow.
"We're gonna handle it when we get to it. We're gonna make sure it doesn't happen. I don't know how yet, but we'll figure it out." So I think that the crossover is gonna really bring that to light. Like they're gonna have to confront it.
Crap
you know?
baskets.
What?
I'm gonna have to watch Flash.
Yeah.
I know. Now you're going to sell me on
Yeah,
watching.
because I took a break from it. And I always wait for like all the episodes to drop on Netflix, and then I binge watch it. But that is something I want to watch because like the potential for that is so dope. With doing Crisis on Infinite Earths, we can get so many different versions of the Flash. Like we can low key legit get our Wally West.
Yeah.
Like another version
Well,
of another Earth for like Wally West. We can get like Linda Park. We can get Impulse. We can get like XS. We can get like all these different speedsters that we always wanted to see. It has a lot of potential. I'm down for this.
And the Monitor looks so good. That's all.
The Monitor does look great. All right, let's move on to our next thing. It's myself interviewing Shazam, Zachary Levi. Hit it, Joe. You're the best interviewer in the world, says Spike Lee.
You're a great representative for this community, especially with Nerd HQ and what you do. And when you got cast as Shazam, oh man, that was great. That was mind blown. And you look amazing in that suit.
Thanks,
right?
man.
That trailer looked great.
Thanks.
Talk to me. How difficult is it to play that childlike Billy Batson as a grown man with all these powers?
Well, I mean, as a man child, it's kind of second nature. It's actually quite fun to be able to tap into that. I mean, I've always been a pretty exuberant, gregarious. I'm trying to think of other words I don't know the definition to. Person, I've always been a bit of a Peter Pan. I love fun. I love curating fun. I like experiencing fun, and always been a little, led by my emotions here and there, as teens are wont to do. So it was very, I don't know. It was like kind of riding a bike in a lot of ways. However, I'm also, a 38-year-old man and have lived some life, and we tend to, operate very cerebrally the older we get. And so I found myself in a lot of moments, breaking down a scene or the character and go, okay, what would Billy be thinking or doing? And then I started overthinking things, and I thought to myself, well, Billy wouldn't be overthinking this by any stretch. So that was kind of one of the biggest challenges of it. And then obviously, being in the gym 6 days a week and eating 4,000 calories a day, which is probably one of the most difficult things I've ever done in my life. You don't realize I mean, by the way, it's easy to eat 4,000 calories if you're eating cake and ice cream.
Sure. Yeah.
But if you're eating like plain chicken and broccoli and, you know, all of the things that are just not the most, you know, exciting things to eat, it's a difficult thing to put all that in.
You just took the fun out of eating 4,000 calories for me.
Yeah.
So there goes that. I do have to ask about this, though, because this Billy Batson, it seems like it's more reminiscent of the New 52 version that we've been seeing.
100%.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure about that with the Wizard Shazam. Talk to me about the tone on set, because I thought to myself, man, if this is just big as a superhero movie, nailed it. And then you see that trailer, and you're like, nailed it.
Yeah, it's the movie Big meets the movie Superman. I mean, that's basically what it is. And the tone on set was a lot of fun. I mean, it was difficult. We were shooting in Toronto through the wintertime, and the movie is like 75% exterior nights. So it was cold. It was cold a lot. And the suit doesn't really keep me warm in the cold, and it also didn't keep me cool in the soundstage. Like, we'd be inside, and I'd be overheating, and I'd be outside, and I'd be freezing to death. But those are all very small prices to pay to, you know, get to be a superhero. It was fun. We had a really great group, great cast, great crew, and you know, and the story is fantastic. Henry Gayden wrote a great script. David Sandberg is a fantastic director.
I just wanted to I wanted to ask about him for a second, because he's not normally from this superhero world. And on paper, it seems like an odd fit. However, being from that kind of like James Wan type of school, it's working.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a really inspired choice, because you wanted to give that. You need to capture the youth that is just, you know, it's literally just infused into the story, because it's Billy Batson. He's a 14-year-old kid, and going on the New 52, he's with a whole collection of other foster kids as well. So you need to be able to still find that, tap into that, and allow for that on screen. And, you know, there's going to be a lot of heart and levity when you have a 14-year-old, an adult playing a 14-year-old. But you need to balance that with the grit and with the kind of danger and the stakes. And I think that David Sandberg, coming from the horror world with Lights Out and with Annabelle Creation, was a really inspired choice. And he and our DP, Maxime, who's this like super awesome Italian dude, they were painting frames. Like, they're going back and looking at the monitors. They really were, I think, creating very artistically designed shots to kind of balance all of the, you know, kind of bit of zaniness that comes from an adult playing a 14-year-old.
Now, talk to me about Billy's kind of like idolization of Superman to an extent, because Superman's in this world, and I know that Billy's always kind of looked up to him. Do we get any glimmers of that in this film?
Well, so in the New 52, Billy's actually not a fan of Superman. He doesn't really know. Freddie Freeman is the big superhero fanatic, and he is a fan of Superman and Batman and Aquaman and Wonder Woman, because yes, the world of Shazam exists like squarely in the middle of the DC universe. All of the movies that we've seen in the real world were basically like documentaries in their world. You know, all of these things really happened. Justice League really happened. So Freddie is you know, gaga about this stuff. Billy has been on this journey trying to find his parents his whole life, and has just never really given any credence to any of that stuff. So when Billy becomes, you know, or, you know, me essentially becomes Shazam, he has no idea what is going on. So Freddie kind of gets to be his Obi-Wan, his Yoda, his mentor and guide through all of it, which leads to a lot of fun. Jack Grazier and I had just a fantastic time with all of the let's say the learning montage, the learning sequence. I think people will really enjoy that.
How much time did you spend with your younger counterpart kind of getting mannerisms down?
Unfortunately, not that much.
Really?
But Asher and I did get some time. I mean, he was shooting Andy Mack, this Disney show that he's been doing. He was still working on it when we were doing rehearsals during January. So we had gotten a few rehearsals together and some table reads, and got, just to kind of get to know each other a little bit. Fortunately, we're similar-ish. Like, both of us love singing and dancing. We're both that kind of kid, because I am a kid. And then, but then beyond that, it was really just trusting David Sandberg. It was just, saying, hey, man, you're watching me and you're watching him. So give us the notes we need to get in order to marry those performances. So we'll see.
I love the fact that Mark Strong plays the villain in this.
Dude, Mark Strong is so good.
And I want to talk about that for a second, because talk to me about your relationship with Mark while you're shooting, but also off screen. Anything you learned from him as well.
I mean, he's just such a I don't know. I mean, there's something about the English that's so just collected and so professional, unlike me. He's so talented and professionally trained, and he literally has played so many different types of characters. I mean, the guy is such a chameleon. And I've been a fan of his. I mean, prior to the movie, I remember telling people like, oh, and Mark Strong's playing the villain. Like, Mark Strong, I go, that guy in this movie, and that guy in this movie, and that guy in this movie. And they're like, that's the same guy. I'm like, that's the same guy. He's so good. He can just morph in and out of things. And
I could be Mark Strong right now.
you could be Mark Strong right now.
Yeah.
Yes, it's like a Sacha Baron Cohen thing that's going on. But yeah, I mean, and his family was so lovely. They came and visited from London. I hope that we get to do something together again, whether it's in the Shazam world or something else.
Sure.
I was just honored to share screen time with him.
I'm excited to see Shazam, but I have to ask, because we got a lot of tweets about this, to ask you, that we know that Henry Cavill, there's a lot of rumors out there with him in the DCEU, and also him possibly appearing in this film. We don't know if he does or not, but if he did appear in this film, how do you think Shazam's interaction, I should say Captain Marvel, Shazam's interaction would be with him?
Well, I mean, I think it would be I think he'd be kind of geeking out, I'm sure, right? Because that's Superman. I mean, who is arguably the most famous character in that world. But also, I don't know, because I didn't really, again, it's like Freddie's dream to meet him and know him more than it was Billy's. I think Billy would probably be like wanting to arm wrestle him or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Test
like,
his strength.
Who's actually stronger?
Right.
I think that's probably what we'd want to do.
There it is. We were just Zachary Levi.
Joe.
Thank
Bye, Joe.
Thank you.
Well
So, fun things to take away. If you want to catch up on who Shazam is, Johnny, what do you recommend them reading?
New 52 Shazam. They're pretty much using a lot of that character where Jeff Johns kind of restarted the character and brought him into the modern age. So that's a really great place to start at. And honestly, from what I've seen of the trailers, it looks like they're adapting that pretty straightforwardly. So that's a great place to start. If you want to watch something animated, Justice League War is a great thing to watch.
Did you just say pretty straightforwardly?
Did I not? What did I have?
You're an English teacher? Is that
I have had beverages. I've had beverages. I don't have beverages in front of the children, so
colloquial
word
English
slippage.
is not the same as written English.
Thank you. An educated person. Thank you.
So wait, I do have another question for you.
But Justice League War is a good movie to watch too.
And also, did you ever read Jeff Parker's Shazam? It was came in like a strange like children's book style.
Oh yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah. With that, like, the children's artwork and everything like that. That was dope.
It was very, very good. I recommend that as well. It's by Jeff Parker. He did Bone for all of you guys out there. But parlaying it into our next thing, Johnny, your poll list of the week.
Woo! Chester, my theme song. That's all I get, man. We need a bigger budget. Okay, so
At least a speaker.
So my pull list this week, I read a lot of books. The cool thing about 24-hour comic day is I was able to like dive into a lot of stuff that I haven't got a chance to read yet, and I caught up a lot of stuff. So one of the first things on my pull list is Avengers #9. Avengers is having a great run right now. It's being written by John Aaron, and right now Dave Marquez is the new artist on there. You might know him if you read like Ultimate Spider-Man. He was like an artist on there for a while, and he is killing it. Like when you see this Namor cover right now, he's doing like some amazing work. And
That's crazy. It looks like all pencils almost, like all pencils, like like no inking really.
Pretty much, yeah. He has a
really beautiful work. Yeah,
he has a dope style, and he usually works with the same colorists too, and the same like so they're a good creative team that knows how to bring like works like this to life. He's also really good at like updating costumes, and like here's the thing. So when I got into like this new Avengers run, the first 5 issues, which I read as trade.
I like that interior art.
Oh, it's
That's
beautiful. It's beautiful. But the first 5 issues for that trade was not the same artist, and so the first 5 issues did kind of turn me off a little bit. Again, I give that artist credit; they tried their best, but he wasn't good at doing like group shots. And when you have the Avengers, there's a lot of group shots. But John Aaron's writing this dope story where pretty much the Avengers have discovered like Celestials and like all these other things like on the planet and whatnot, and so they've like moved their base to the North Pole, and they're pretty much based out of like a Celestials like dead carcass and everything.
Oh wow.
It is super sick. It is dope. And then right here, like we've seen Namor before say like I'm going to invade the surface world. Well, he's legit about to invade the surface world. And he's killed like a few people already.
Oh, man.
He killed Stingray. He killed a couple people who came into his land.
It's happening.
Yeah, he's getting bodies.
Uh-oh.
And so right now is a great time to jump on. Again, the story's amazing. The artwork's super amazing. This is a great jumping on point. And again, you see a badass Namor, which I think they're doing this on purpose because with the Aquaman movie coming out, they're like, guess what? Our Man Under the Sea is better.
The only downside is they don't have the rights to Namor.
Yep. Because it's stuck where at Universal right now?
Yeah, stuck at Universal, correct.
What's Universal even doing?
They have the rights to the Hulk.
Yeah, but nothing's happening with
It's
it.
like a
Well,
package deal or something.
they can't make Marvel can't make Hulk movies.
Yeah, right. That's why Mark Ruffalo doesn't get his own movie. But I mean, Universal isn't doing anything with it, so it's like.
Yeah, but it's. Well, you don't give anything back in this world. You sell it back.
Oh, thanks for that, Blackwing, Jason Aaron. Then my
Don't
second.
thank him, and his name is Ratwing, not
Oh
Blackwing.
my gosh,
Ratwing.
Blackwing, I got you.
Ratwing.
And then
or Jonathan Jennings.
Then my
anger.
second pick this week is Catwoman #1. And so I picked this up because a friend of mine recommended it to me, and oh
Is this
my
based on the
gosh,
Halle Berry run?
not at all, not at all. But it is beautiful. It's being written and drawn by the same person.
Joelle Jones, right?
Thank you. Yep, exactly. And she's doing amazing work here. Pretty much, this series starts right after the wedding, and when you pick up, you find out like what happened about pretty much like. Spoilers, it didn't work out. And so she's like rebuilding her life. She's like back into like being on her own, gambling, living a life. But all of a sudden, a Catwoman shows up and starts like degrading her name, pulling crimes and whatnot.
A Catwoman shows up.
Yeah,
Exactly. A different Catwoman.
A fake Catwoman.
And she goes to investigate.
Dressed as Catwoman.
As Catwoman with the skills, the whip, the equipment, everything. And when she catches her, she discovers a league of Catwomen. And so this is the first issue that I picked up. And I gotta say, again, the artwork is magnificent. It's beautifully drawn. It's being drawn and written by the same person. It was really dope. Is though a lot of you always ask me like, John, like how do you make comics? Like what's some advice you can give? This is a great book to pick up, especially for artists who want to make their own books. Because at the end of the book, she breaks down like how she does story as an artist / writer because she has to do both things.
This,
so
this
this is a great thing.
art style reminds me. It's a little bit gritty. It reminds me of that. Did you ever read the Gotham City Central with Ed Brubaker?
Yeah.
It reminds me of that style. I like it a lot.
No, I agree with you. When I read it, I was like, this. I love the grittiness of it, like you said. I love like the artistic, like it has more like artsy feel to it.
Yeah, look at
like
the
that.
faces. Look, you can see like the age lines. This is great art.
And I'm loving
Yeah.
the fashion choices she's making here too, because like she has Selena Kyle like dressed in these magnificent outfits. Like everyone has their own personality. And dude,
Great
the
colors, by the way.
Yeah, and the
colorism.
faces are on point. And she,
Yeah.
again, she's doing the writing and drawing.
Yeah,
she's killing it.
I'm caught up with this series right now, and
Don't
so far
spoil
it's
it.
still.
Don't
I'm not
spoil it.
telling you anything.
Okay, just
but
making
so far
sure.
it is really good. Like the art still looks really great, and the way that they get deeper into the storyline and like what's going on and why Selena is there in that place is really interesting.
And my third and final pick is Spider-Man #7. And so this book I picked up because a friend of mine
Nick
gave
Spencer writing.
I believe so, yeah. So my friend of mine gave me this recommendation because it was really funny is that right now he's actually living with the Boomerang. And I'm like, wait, what? So he's sharing an apartment with the Boomerang, and pretty much in this like little like 2-issue arc right
Boomerang.
here.
Oh, never mind. I'm thinking of Captain
No,
Boomerang.
not that one. Yeah, that's what said the Boomerang. He takes it to the superhero villain bar, and they go there and they have Spider-Man trivia night. And he takes Peter because he used to be the photographer for Spider-Man.
That's fun.
And pretty much Peter just like cleans up. And at first he's like, I want to leave, but I hear a couple guys planning a robbery, so I need to stay to hear this. But at the same time, these questions are just too easy, and it goes in. So if you're a Spider-Man fan, it's really cool because they ask all these trivia questions about like the Spider Buggy, about these different villains that he's fought and everything like that. So as a Spider-Man fan, it's really fun to read. In addition to that, though, I gotta give it credit though. Like the writer who's currently on this book is doing a great job.
Nick Spencer.
Yeah, he's bringing in all this like cool like Spider-Man
Nick
like
Spencer,
knowledge.
yeah.
He's bringing all this history of it, and again, he's got a fresh new story. And the cool thing about this though is that I was never a fan of Spider-Man breaking up with Mary Jane.
Yes!
And this
Yeah, me
I
neither.
quit when that happened.
Yeah,
so
I'm with you on
they're
that.
So-
they're back,
I hate
right?
that.
It's-
They're back, exactly. They're back.
It's
Like
sticking like it's
exactly.
good?
Yeah,
Wait,
they're-
wait, but
they're
they're
like
not married.
no,
No, no.
but they're together,
Yeah.
and that's good enough for right now.
Okay.
And so I'm loving that
I'ma
too.
dive
We can
back
see that
in then.
relationship. So all in all, it's such a good read right now. So this is a great time to pick up Spider-Man.
I was just gonna. Is this a good jumping on point for Spider-Man? 'Cause
Yes, it
Dan
is.
Slott is known for his epic Spider-Man run that lasted multiple years. But you're saying right now, Nick Spencer's run right now in this issue, you can jump on start off fresh.
And you're totally cool because you're saying, look, I've said this before, and we've got to like debates about this. Dan Slott's run on Spider-Man, I was the most appreciative of, and so the thing about it is, was that a lot of stuff he did, I didn't really like that much, and so I didn't read Spider-Man for a long time. But now that he's gone, I picked up this issue. Again, it's a great jumping on point.
Thank
We
you
can
for
pick up and
leaving
get
Dan
started.
Slott.
Well, same thing with Jonathan Hickman. Like, that's one of those writers that I can't just jump in the middle. But great call, Johnny. As always, I love that you bring the actual comic book knowledge.
I try.
You're not just a fake ass guy.
Just not,
you know.
I'm not just a pretty face.
Exactly. Well, you are
I am.
you are a
But I
pretty
am.
face, but
But he's so much more than that.
I do want to jump to our next topic. Speaking of women, you're a woman.
I am a woman. Oh my
We
God.
weren't speaking of women,
Not
but
a
you're a
fake
woman.
All right.
We have a little bit of a list, a little bit of a countdown.
Okay. Yes.
So first of all, we're going to talk about the top 5 female superheroes. But before we get into that list, I got to ask, give me your top 3. Your top 3.
Superheroes. Does Catwoman count as a superhero?
She can. I guess she's an anti-hero.
Okay.
She can.
Well, then it would be Wonder Woman, Catwoman.
Wait, like we're going from 3 to 1? Or
No,
we're going...
1 to 3.
Okay.
So 1 would be Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
I guess I should have done the suspense thing, but oh well. 2 would be Catwoman, and then
Catwoman.
3 would be Captain Marvel.
What? No Spider-Gwen?
I hate
Spider-Man
Spider-Man. Come on, get out of here
like
with
2
that
years
shit.
ago. Please.
Wait, give me your top 3.
That Gwenpool?
Okay, Gwenpool. You know what?
Get outta
If
here with
Gwenpool
that
had lasted
shit.
longer, she might be on that list.
give me your top 3.
Okay, this is just off rip. This off the top of the dome. So again, I'm back going from 3. 3, Cassandra Cain. I think Cassandra Cain is amazing.
I
That's
love
my
her.
bad
I'm with
girl.
that. I
She's
like that.
amazing. Said. Number 2, Oracle. Because again, such an empowering
I see
character.
a
Alright, so
theme
you like
here.
the Bat family.
Exactly.
You're
So
up in
showing
there.
that and everything like that. And honorable mention to Huntress, because Huntress
Okay.
again on what's
She's
called
cool.
Justice League Unlimited, badass, amazing character.
Mm-hmm.
But my number 1, gotta give respect is due. Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to go with my number 3. I'm going to say Storm. Huge
Okay.
X-Men fan. Storm broke a lot of barriers. Mine,
Racially as well.
Racially. Number 2, I got to go Phoenix.
Ooh,
Okay.
great.
Jean Grey. I got to
Okay,
go
so
Jean
now
Grey.
we're in
but
the X-Men.
I'm a big
side
X-Men.
of
I'm a huge
things.
X-Men fan.
Yeah.
But my number 1, I also got to go Wonder Woman.
Yes!
I mean, like, I mean, Gal Gadot brought so much to that role. But even before that, Wonder Woman, to me, especially, remember Justice League Unlimited?
Yeah.
She always seemed like the leader to me. Like, she was always the one that was just like the warrior and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the one you don't want to mess with.
And
Batman.
Hawk Girl on that show too.
Right,
They're
like she's like
great.
the most clear-headed, right?
But you know,
Yeah.
but you know what I realized? So a while back, we used to play this game where because we were talking about DC.
Mm-hmm.
Now DC has so many strong female heroes, and Joe would ask like, okay, so for the Avengers, name like top 5 female heroes, and it's like,
hard.
ooh, that's hard. But you know what I realized? If you say X-Men,
Yeah.
it is so easy.
Yeah.
X-Men is so empowering
Yeah.
of female characters.
That's true.
It's like,
That's
oh,
true.
name some like Storm, Magic, Phoenix. Would you keep going? Female bitch, you just
Jubilee.
keep going.
Yeah,
Exactly,
like
you just keep going
the
down the
only
list.
problem with X-Men is just that they don't necessarily get as much time to shine individually because it is one big group.
Well,
but if you go through the entire, like
I think
run of every X-Men,
It's
then you're
interesting
gonna
that we're
get a lot
talking
of
about this
medium stuff.
this list because
Mm-hmm.
I think the X-Men, even they're called X-Men, I actually think the women are stronger
Yeah.
than the men in that
They
universe.
are, because it's
Yeah.
like, and their storyline is so much richer. I agree with you, because they have so many different characters going on there. It's hard to find time for people to shine. But like, I think about Magic,
Mm-hmm.
so it's Colossus'
Magic, yeah,
sister.
100%.
Her storyline of being a mutant who can time travel, but
Even
also
Hope, look at
getting her-
Hope.
getting her like
Yeah.
soul turned out is
Mm-hmm.
just crazy. Pixie was someone who came brought in there with the new X-Men. Her storyline's amazing. Like, there's so many great female characters with so many rich storylines there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
Props to
like
Marvel.
aside from like Wolverine
Props to
and
Chris Claremont.
Magneto
Yeah,
and
you're right.
Professor X, the most iconic ones are the women, like Phoenix
100%.
and like Jean Grey
and Storm,
especially.
And can
Exactly.
we again, great pick by the way. Can we hype up Storm in the '80s when she had the white mohawk and
Yes.
everything like that?
Storm.
Led
Yes.
the Morlocks,
Led the
held down the
Morlocks, yeah.
team.
She-
She was
she
just
beat
running
Cyclops
things.
with the team, yeah.
yeah.
Now
And
I,
Cyclops again, we love Cyclops.
I do.
Cyclops is like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
you won. This is your team. I'm following your lead. That's man right there. That's man right
Storm
there.
Storm
True.
was also arguably the best leader the X-Men ever had, by the way. And I am a Cyclops guy, but Storm arguably is she was there during the golden age of the X-Men, had the coolest stuff going on. But
that.
let's talk about top 5 female superheroes. Hit that list. I don't even know who did
Too
this
long
list.
ago, Marvel
It's
released
Jessica.
our first trailer for the Captain Marvel film, giving us our first look at Brie Larson in the title role. In 2019, we'll be getting both Captain Marvel and the second Wonder Woman movie. So, we decided to put together a list of other female comic book characters that you should get to know. In this video, we're going to look at our top 5, but check out our website at thathashtagshow.com for another 4. In no particular order, Here we go. First up, we have Storm. Aurora Monroe is the descendant of an ancient line of African priestesses, all of whom have white hair, blue eyes, and the potential to wield magic. Storm has an impressive resume in the Marvel Universe. She's led both the X-Men and the Morlocks, more or less took over the Hellfire Club, was a member of the Fantastic Four and the Avengers, and she married the Black Panther. She's had one hell of a life. Although we've seen 2 different versions of her in the movies, and she was a prominent character in the animated series, there's so much more to her than what we've seen on screen. She's definitely a character worthy of getting to know. Next up, we have Witchblade. Sarah Pizzini is a cop with the NYPD Homicide Unit. During a case, Sarah runs across a special gauntlet that bonds with her, turning her into the Witchblade. The gauntlet gave Sarah special powers and covered her body with well-placed armor. A brilliantly drawn and colored comic, Witchblade dazzled with the minimally covered Sarah, but at the same time told very strong stories about the good versus evil and the grays that ripped at both sides. The series ended its run in 2015, so you won't find anything current, but it would definitely be worth your time to pick up a trade paperback to see what she's all about. Then we have Rogue. Another member of the X-Men, Rogue is worth getting to know for multiple reasons, but right now, specifically for her connection to Captain Marvel. At least in the comics. Rogue has the power to absorb the abilities and personality of a target, typically for a limited time. Unfortunately, this also means she's unable to have skin-to-skin contact with anyone for more than an instant. If a touch lingered too long, it could kill, or in some cases, permanently absorb her target's powers. What we've seen so far in the movies is only a small fraction of her comic book abilities. During a time when Rogue was working with the Brotherhood of Mutants, she attacked Carol Danvers, taking her powers permanently and causing Carol to fall into a coma. Rogue's history is just as deep and as interesting as Storm. You should definitely check her out. Here's one you may not have heard of. Micah Halfwolf is from a title called Monstrous, put out by Image Comics. She's a teenager in a world devastated by a war between humans and magical beings. Micah lost an arm, but possesses more power than she can imagine or wish for. The demon inside her has its own interests at heart, not hers. Micah must walk back and forth between the 2 worlds and solve the puzzle that is her existence and that of the demon. The artwork is incredible, the storytelling complex. Micah has a strength that gets her through problems as well as creates them. She keeps friends at a distance and tells royalty, or her demon, to F off. Micah's journey is a great tale, and if you want to pick up a good book that's not from Marvel, this is a good one for you. Last on our list, we have Batwoman. While Batwoman was actually introduced back in 1956, she's only recently started to gain popularity. Kate Kane was resurrected in 2006 and has been updated for a more modern audience. This new version of Batwoman is Bruce Wayne's cousin, lesbian, and Jewish. This year, Kat will be featured on the crossover event in the CW's Arrowverse. She's a strong, no-nonsense character. If you're enjoying the Marvel shows on Netflix, Batwoman is a character you should check out. So there are 5 out of our 9 female comic book characters we think you should look into. You can find our full list at our website at thathashtagshow.com. Who do you guys think should be on the list? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm Jessica. Thanks for watching. Make sure to keep following That Hashtag Show to stay up to date with everything trending and games.
So Jess, I love you, but here's the deal. I'm gonna let you know how I feel about that list. I disagree. I actually disagree.
So do I.
Who was the producer on that segment? Who was the producer? Look at the Josh Race. Homeless Josh over there.
He'll produce anything for a
superheroes that you
sandwich.
may not know about as much as
All right, let's talk. Let's talk about this list for a second. Johnny Johnny definitely disagreed when we were watching
you
this.
did not like that monster.
Talk to me about why you didn't like some of these choices.
The fuck? Like, I'm sorry. Like, we get one. But here's the thing, though. That was a hype beast move. Because here's the thing. A couple of those things on that list, I'm just like,
I'm going to give you your one back because that's totally viable. I agree
Thank
with you.
Sweet, I get one more. Because here's the thing. Witchblade? Like, here's the thing. Witchblade low-key kind of, like, set the women's movement back. How's that an empowered character? She's running around, like, half naked like that. Like, seriously, she was used to sell covers. She should have been with Xenoscope, for the love of God. Like, come on. Like, I'll give you $20 if you can really explain to me Witchblade's origins, her character motivation, and what she's doing now.
She wears a thong.
Seriously? Oh, okay.
She wears a thong.
Joe's got $20. Joe's got $20. Ro, give us 20. Moving on. My next thing. Seriously, like, again, what was
That's
that?
not a good way, though. That's not empowering.
And then here's the thing, Monstrous?
No,
Like, here's the thing,
Monstrous,
I give all credit to Monstrous, the creative team behind it. They won a lot of Eisners this summer and everything like that. But that is too soon to be putting that on your top 5 list and everything like that. Especially if you're leaving off, like, again, Wonder Woman. Again,
Right.
that is, like, just straight
do you leave
disrespectful.
off
Well, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like, that's like a
No.
list that's more like trying to give credit to like characters that you might not know about as much, as opposed
Yeah,
to
you know,
really,
because
like,
I
what's the
really,
most iconic.
for sure, I thought that Slingshot or Yo-Yo from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was definitely going to be on that list. Come on, what the hell was that? Monstrous?
No. And, like, so here's the thing. We're gonna say,
Honestly,
like,
Maggie from The Walking Dead may
Oh?
possibly
dude,
could
Maggie. No, here's
There
the
you
thing.
go. If you wanted
no,
someone from
Michonne
Image,
from
Maggie.
The Walking
Michonne,
Dead
yeah,
could have been
Michonne.
on that.
Michonne could've been
Exactly. And then we go Jubilee. Jubilee could have been on that list.
Well, Johnny,
Yeah,
you're
but
going a
then
little
you're
too
just
far.
all right, I know
You're
you,
just doing
but
X-women.
Kitty Pryde. Kitty
Pryde
Pryde could have been on that list.
All right, we already had 2 ex-women. All right, there's enough with the ex.
All right.
this is just
Zata-
bad.
what
This is
about
not a good list.
what about Zatanna?
Zatanna, yeah.
Yep.
Zatanna's an underrated female heroine for sure.
Heroin.
Oh my God.
I didn't have to. That was redundant. I said female already, but.
And again, my apologies to whoever made that list. Again, you're entitled to your opinion, but at the same time,
It was one of our writers.
You're entitled to your wrong opinion.
No, that is no. That is not a good look. That is not a good look. Like,
But she looked good
Mockingbird?
while giving that
Mockingbird?
list.
If you want to be like current again, my feminist agenda, you didn't put Mockingbird. What were you doing?
Also,
oh
Black
my
Canary, who
gosh.
gets disrespected all the time on television, should at least get some respect.
Exactly. Okay,
And-
Captain Marvel, who has a movie coming out, who's again a power figure, who started the
Clearly-
Carol Corps.
It was
who
clearly
started this-
heroines other than Captain Marvel. Yes, other than Captain
All right,
Marvel.
cool. Lady Thor. No, I'm sorry, not even Lady Thor.
Thor.
She just had that amazing
Jane
run.
Foster Thor.
Again, the regular Thor can't even pick up the hammer
Whoa,
still.
whoa, whoa.
So
Another
angry.
character-
The
The
character-
anger's so
Sorry.
strong.
Another character that
Sorry.
we are overlooking as well, for real, just strong female comic book characters. She might not be a superhero, but she's a hero. Is Lois Lane.
Of course.
I agree with
Lois
you.
Lane. Lois Lane is a hero. Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
she's more. I think she is a better mindset for like saving people and being on the beat than Superman does.
Yeah, and in the year of 2018, media and journalism is more important than ever. So.
Yeah, man, she won a Pulitzer.
Hashtag
Won a Pulitzer.
hashtag Saudi Arabia. Let's talk about the Flash movie being delayed for a second. Tatiana, I'm going to go to you. You're the Flash expert
Right.
here for the TV show.
Like, The Fastest Man Alive has the slowest possible movie. I don't understand.
That's the quote of the week. I love that, by the way. Yes, The Fastest Man Alive does have the slowest production in a movie.
Yep.
Why are we getting delayed again?
Okay, so supposedly it's because they need to touch up the script since they went from, it's going to be an origin story, to, oh, just kidding, it's going to be Flashpoint, to being like, oh, wait, that's a terrible plan. We have to do something else. We have to go back, Kate. So they also got rid of Rick Famuyiwa, which I think was like the worst possible idea of all time. Especially when his, I don't know if you guys remember, like his little like goodbye letter was basically like, oh, I was hoping that to have like a culturally diverse story that apparently was not the vision of Warner Brothers. I was like, what does that mean? That it was like not white enough for them? So don't like that. And instead we've got the guys from Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah, Lord
which,
and Miller.
No, not Lord and Miller.
I'm sorry.
Kid from Bones.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Kid from Freaks and Geeks.
Oh, Lord and
John
Miller.
Francis Daly
Oh, sure,
and
sure. Lord and
Jonathan
Miller were
Goldstein.
rumored. Lord and Miller were rumored.
Yeah,
for
they
that.
were the original ones.
Yeah.
They were the original ones, and then they got taken back.
Oh yeah, we forgot about this. Super
Oh, yeah.
chats. So we did get some super chats. So Toku Kid says my top 3: Hunter, Shadowcat, Shebang. What the fuck is Shebang?
Okay, She-Bang?
I don't know what that is.
I thought it was
She-Bang,
Sugar.
is that?
I thought it was
Ricky
She-Hulk
Martin.
maybe
Exactly.
for a second.
And then we got Nightman87. Another super chat says Black Cat from Spider-Man the animated series.
Black Cat is pretty cool.
That's a good choice.
Black
That's
Cat
a
is
good
pretty
choice.
cool. I like her.
And literally, as we were sitting here, I was just like, oh, you could also have done Lumberjanes. Again, won a lot of
Lumberjanes.
awards, dope book. You could have done RC from Transformers, Windblade from Transformers. You
could have done
so
the-
many
the
other
Pink
options.
Ranger.
Nancy
Power
Drew
Rangers.
is also a
dude,
superhero.
seriously. Oh my, there's like, what happened with this list? But my apologies, Tatiana. You were explaining why the Flash franchise is sucking.
Anyway,
Continue.
so I mean, because we don't really know, like it was never officially set up to start filming, but we had heard it was gonna be like February or March, right? And then suddenly it was like, I don't actually know. So I don't know. I just feel like they don't want to make this movie.
Let me
Actually, you know
ask
what
you.
I feel?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
What do you feel?
I feel like Grant Gustin put a curse on the DCEU.
Grant Gustin?
Yes. The moment that they cast another Flash before his show premiered, he was like, "Not on my watch."
But it makes
And then
sense.
he was-
I think it only makes sense to cash another cinematic Flash.
well, sure. Of course, it wasn't going to actually be him, but because up to that point they hadn't doubled up.
Well, not
That was the
just
first time
not
they were
just
doubling
that,
up.
but let's say they use Grant Gustin in the movie.
Which would be impossible. They couldn't do that, of course.
Could it not just be impossible, but at that point it's going to be let's be honest, it's going to be a blockbuster movie.
Yeah.
That's going to get a lot of money, and then he's going to have to go back to a TV show. They're going to his rate to work
would
is
be
going to go up
crazy.
so high.
No, just because what you're saying makes sense doesn't mean it made sense to Grant Gustin and his feelings. Okay.
I like Grant Gustin
So
as the
I'm
Flash.
just, so I'm just saying, I feel like something happened here because after that, the DCEU has just unraveled.
So go ahead, Johnny.
I was gonna say, low key, I kind of support this move though. And there's the only reason why
You support the move.
pushing it back. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And here's the only reason why I support it, because here's the thing though, like again, we just saw that awesome Aquaman trailer. And Aquaman trailer has a lot of energy to it. It looks like a fresh start. It looks amazing. We have that Joker movie coming out with this like indie budget and whatnot, and so we have some good vibes for that. So I think with the Lillian Gigs, they're just playing the odds. They're like, hey, look, let's see how this fresh start goes. Let's see
Right.
how people respond to these things, and now help us influence how we want to like build these franchises moving forward.
I guess that's true because right now you're sort of like on the brink, like he's coming from an already made universe that you're destroying. So you may have to go a totally different direction.
And I gotta be honest, I
a
hate
couple
that
years.
costume, so I'm still.
That
I
costume
don't
is so
like it
ugly.
either. I don't
I
like
don't.
it.
It doesn't look aerodynamic at all. Like
It
I don't
doesn't.
understand.
It does like something like
And-
a runner would wear.
Yes.
And also, I don't like the fact that he doesn't have gloves because if he touches something, he can get his fingerprints.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
And like electric shock.
Exactly, you're fighting supervillains. You got poison, slime,
Yeah.
all these array of different things. It's like seriously, you don't have long gloves.
So let me ask you guys both a question. I'm going to go to you first, Tatiana,
Okay.
because you are the Flash expert. Let's talk about what storyline you would like to see adapted into the Flash movie that would make sense in this universe. And same question to you, Johnny. Start thinking.
Okay, so the one thing that I would have liked to see, and the Flash show kind of followed it, but they didn't really go the way that I wanted to see it go, would have been to do Flash Rebirth.
Okay.
Which is like to see...
That was one episode.
Right, no. But I mean, like, to see Eobard, like, start in the original timeline, right? And then see Eobard make the choice to mess up Barry Allen's life. And then we see, like, how everything has changed. So then, like, one way is the universe as it was, DCEU. And then the new way is the new universe that you're going to have to start over from. So, yeah, that's what I would.
Flash Rebirth. Johnny, what do you got?
Sorry, I got distracted by the producer. So here's the thing.
He's
so,
not the producer. He's just a red-faced little bastard that's drinking too much behind the camera. Go ahead.
Seriously, like real talk. So something that I would love to see in the Flash movie. I get one more. Fuck it. I'll do what I want to do. Seriously, if I can do what I want to do, here's what I think. We have the TV show, and that's Barry Allen. But in the movies, I would do Wally West.
Yeah,
So-
I'm with
Oh, yeah.
that.
So here's the
Right,
thing.
like,
So
don't
again,
do Barry Allen.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
do the whole legacy right there. Introduce Linda Park. Introduce Impulse. Introduce somebody dealing with his legacy. And the cool thing about it is we have it take place slightly in the future, like 15,
down with
20
that,
years.
dude.
So
Oh,
that way you can
yeah.
always look back to Grant Gustin. You can have Grant Gustin cameo and everything like that
Yeah.
as this older
I mean,
Flash.
if
love
they
that.
had
I
done
love
it,
that
if
idea.
they had done
And
it with
then-
the original timeline of when it was supposed to be, what I would have done is introduced Wally West on the show
Got another
and
super
then
chat.
branched him off to the movies.
Dump Flash since
Done.
we have a show, do Reverse Flash. I actually love Johnny's idea, mainly because I think, me personally, I think Linda Park is a better, I think she's a better character than, I even forgot her name, Iris. But I think that Wally has just, he's just better than Barry, I think.
And I will say this too, though. It's like, here's the thing: if you look at classic runs, right, of like a different character, there's these moments you can pick out. Where it's like, ooh, that was a really good run. There's a lot of material to work with here for us to adapt into movies and whatnot. That Mark Raid run on Wally West Flash
Right.
is amazing.
Yeah.
There's so many tidbits like to pull from that we still haven't seen the show actually mess with at all. So there's a lot of great things to play with.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our next and our final story of the night. We're going to be talking about Spider-Man Far From Home. It is wrapped. It is done. It is finito.
Wrap it up.
So here's the one thing I want to take away from this. Number one, Spider-Man has a new costume, or multiple new costumes in this movie. Number two, here's something very interesting. S.H.I.E.L.D. seems to be out of the shadows again because they're helping Spider-Man. Nick Fury is in the film, but it seems like they're pretty
And
open
Maria
now.
Hill.
And Maria Hill. So it seems like they're pretty open. Let's just take this out of context for a second.
Okay. Out
We-
of context.
Out of context
Okay.
for a second. So we.
Ah,
oh,
my
that's cute.
babies!
Okay, they are shipping so hard right now. Like, dude, like I'm happy for them and everything like that. But I'm like, look, can y'all just stay together for the third movie, please?
They're
Like,
going to,
Please just stay together for the
obviously.
third movie.
They have to stay together.
Is that a Megazord?
Even
Or
if
is
they
that-
didn't want to, they would have to.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Johnny.
I do love the chemistry between these two. Like, have
I
you,
do
have
too.
you
I
two ever
love
seen
it.
the lip sync battle
Yeah,
they did?
yeah.
Yes,
Where he was
so much
Rihanna and she
fun.
did her Bruno Mars. Like, they're having so much fun with these like characters, and it's translating to the film a lot.
But I'm also super impressed with Zendaya, mainly because she is a pretty good actress.
She is.
And
she is.
like I've seen her in a lot of things at this point. And more recently the movie with Hugh Jackman and Zac Efron, The Greatest Showman. She's amazing in that.
She was really good in that, yeah.
And I like the character she portrays. I think and there's already rumors that we kind of had the first story about. So it's the rumors that she's going to play Ariel in The Little Mermaid.
Yes, that's
Oh,
right.
that'd be
She'll be a
cool.
great
And
Ariel.
that
That'd be
rumor
cool.
has
Ariel.
it that's going to be announced at D23.
Oh.
So check that out.
Zendaya stealing roles from redheads. since
Well, she was a redhead.
2016.
I mean,
I know. I'm just kidding.
I think
But-
she'd be great, but
I think
let's-
she'd be amazing.
Let's
I
talk
would-
about Spider-Man Far From
Wait,
Home.
is that ginger appropriation?
Please.
I'm
please.
just asking. I'm just asking.
She'd look
Ginger
fine as a
gays
redhead.
out
It's
there, they
fine.
get upset
Just
quick.
dye her
I'm
hair
just
red. Done.
Is it authentic though? I'm just saying. Go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Carpets and drapes, man. That's
Oh
another
my
story.
God!
Hey, I didn't say. Hey, whoa.
She's a child. I mean, she's not.
She
a
is
child.
not.
I know
She's
she's
in
not
her
a child.
20s. Johnny, Far From Home's wrapped.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to see in this Spider-Man movie? And from the pictures you've seen, what do you like? What do you dislike?
So one, I'm loving these new costumes. Get that video game money. Because here's the thing, though. Everyone who I talk to who loves playing the video game, especially my students, they all talk about they love the fact that we have all these different costumes. And as comic book fans, we've been reading for years, we know new costumes come and go, and especially with fresh takes on them. So I'm looking forward to seeing like new costumes he introduces here. They'll be cool to add to the canon. So I'm looking forward to that. Two, again, like I said before, I'm looking forward to seeing Spider-Man in a new environment. Because again, how often have we seen Spider-Man in Europe? He's like running through forests and do all these kind of things like that. He's on a boat. He might go swim in the water and all this kind of stuff. So we might get like again see Spider-Man in these new elements, and especially if he's under the water. There's that classic Spider-Man moment. We know remember the pipes fall on him, and he has to use all the energy to exert it. We might get that here. So again, I'm loving all the things that they're planning and doing this movie. What about you?
I'm excited to see Rey Mysterio as villain for this movie. I'm just kidding. His name's just Mysterio.
I was thinking for a minute like Rey
Rey
Mysterio,
Mysterio?
like 619.
It's just Mysterio. It's just Mysterio. I'm excited to see Mysterio though. Jake Gyllenhaal for a very long time has been circling the role of Batman, but now he's gonna get his perfect comeuppance in the comic book movie world, and I think Mysterio's a great character that we have yet to see exploited in the Spider-Man
Right.
universe.
I agree with you. So here's the thing. I think he's gonna do a great Mysterio, but sometimes I feel like it's like if you're like when you're playing cards or something like that, you have that ace in your hand and you want to like play it. It's like I feel like playing him as Mysterio is going to be great, but I think it's kind of like overkill. Like he's definitely going to kill this role.
I don't disagree.
I wish
I
we
don't
could have
disagree.
saved him for like actual hero or that bigger villain that could show up like more
I'm
often.
okay with it because I feel like Jake Gyllenhaal's not an actor that you're going to be able to lock down for a franchise.
That's
That's a
true.
good point.
That's
That's a
true.
good point.
It's just like a
So,
one-off role.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
he does like
more
just do like a little
sense.
bit here and there.
Tatiana, let's go to
Hey.
you. What do you like from what you've seen?
Okay.
What do you dislike?
Well, everything that y'all have said, I like.
Oh, look at that Texas coming out.
And one thing is that, not that I've seen it, but I feel like Kevin Feige said that they're going to drop some hints for Young Avengers kind of situation. So I'm definitely looking forward to that, seeing like who might be involved in that. And I saw
Kate
that.
Bishop, I've heard.
Oh, Kate, I love her. Okay, but Remy High from Crazy Rich Asians, he played Alistair Chen in that movie, has been spotted. He was spotted filming. And so people were saying like maybe he could be like
Wicked.
Amadeus Cho because we've already seen her mom. We've seen his mom in Avengers: Age of Ultron. So if he shows up, and then eventually he's in Young Avengers, that would make my life.
That is dope. And here's the thing. I'm
like
loving
that.
everything's to be done, but I gotta be real though. The only thing that worries me is like in all this, it has nothing to do with the storytelling. It has nothing to do with Marvel. Sony.
Yeah.
Sony has me worried because the
I
fact
agree
that
with that.
Venom
This
movie
is the
last
did
movie,
well
right? This is-
puts a little
Well,
bit like
well-
gas in their tank. They're like,
Yeah.
yeah, we did Venom. You know what? Maybe we could do Spider-Man.
So-
no, sit the
You
fuck
can't
down.
do Spider-Man.
Well,
You
Sit down.
can't
Like,
do
nah,
it.
Before we go, I'm going to
Y'all
break this
already
down.
stole my F words, by the way. I just want to say.
I'm gonna break
I didn't
this
say
down.
any because y'all
You
stole
didn't,
them all.
You didn't. I'm gonna break this down real quick. There's six movies that Tom Holland signed on for. We've already seen him in Civil War, 2 Avengers movies, a Spider-Man movie, Far From Home. That leaves
So one more. Okay.
So we're
Whoa, seriously? Only one more?
Yeah.
for the Marvel Disney deal, yes. So that leaves one. However, he can re-sign again with Sony to be Spider-Man and do whatever they're gonna end up doing, but that leaves one. So
Real talk though, how do y'all feel about that though? If he did that, if he signed on to do movies with Sony and not Marvel,
it doesn't matter. At this point, Sony really has the cards here because they can say,
Right.
hey, let's just take back Spider-Man. Venom did really well.
I
That's
really
the
hope
worst
they do
thing
not do
Honestly,
that.
that's the worst thing that could have happened in
it
this
really
deal.
was.
That
Yeah.
Venom
It
doing well.
really
Yeah.
was.
I don't like cheering against movies, but in
Yeah.
that sense, I was like, but I love Tom Hardy. So if they can figure out a way to put Tom Hardy's Venom into this universe
Yeah.
and make it some kind of connection,
Right.
I'll be all right with it.
Yeah.
But now that I'm not excited about a Morbius Jared Leto movie. I'm not excited about Kraven the Hunter.
No.
I think Kraven would have been a great villain for Spider-Man.
Yeah, but not his
been.
own film.
Not his own
Like, what's the
film.
point?
Like,
Yeah,
what do you do?
It
exactly.
would have been like one of those great like dark films you do. Where you do like Spider-Man, like The Last Son, him buried alive, him digging himself out of the grave. There's like so many cool things you could have done with that, but just doing a
Yeah.
movie by himself, it's lackluster.
How much money does Sony get out of the deal?
So I believe that they make all the profit on what the movie makes. Disney and Marvel only really benefit on the merchandise sales,
Oh.
and I believe
So they're
that's how
not.
the
I mean, I
contract's
feel
working
like it does well enough that.
out. Yeah, but now it gives Sony this sense, this false sense of bravado,
Right.
having Venom being a pretty successful movie. So
And the scary thing about it is, though, they didn't do Venom as like a one-off. Like, oh, let's just keep control of the character. They got Woody Harrelson possibly come back as Carnage.
yeah, and he looks like fucking Ronald McDonald. But anyway,
Ba-dum-bum.
he did though. He did look like Ronald McDonald. Guys, that's going to do it for us. This was a great chat about superheroes. Thank you for joining us on the Superhero News Network. We had a list. We had Zachary Levi on the show. Kind of.
Kind of.
So thanks, Zach. But guys, thank you guys so much for joining us. Johnny, where can everybody find you on social media?
You can find me at JohnnyP313 on Instagram, Twitter, and on Gumroad. You can find my book, Broken there, and my other book, Blackness and Brown Hand.
And this weekend.
Yeah, but you can find me at Kale. I'll be at a comic show this weekend. You can find me there. I'll be doing some sign over in like South Central LA. It's a really dope show. And you can Saturday you can also find me on Henshin Hang Out with my Henshin brother Jezer, talking about our favorite Henshin series.
What about Justin?
Nice.
Just won't be there this Saturday. He's got something going on.
Henshin hanging.
And where can we find you?
You can find me at Marcella's Ear on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find podcasts that I'm on, the Flash podcast, Ladies with Gumption, where we talk about all the ladies of DC TV, and Pop a la Carte, where we talk about pop culture in general and foreign media.
And also on the Gingerdale
And
Show.
also on the Gingerdale Show. That's on that hashtag show yesterday and every Wednesday after
And you can
Riverdale.
find me at that hashtag show. And this weekend, I make my return to the Power Ranger shows to shake things up. So join us this Saturday on the Ranger Wrap Up. And I'm going to do a spotlight on somebody. Johnny flaked out on this one.
I got plans.
Yeah, I know you do.
I'm a busy man.
I think it's either going to be Daniel or Kelly. It possibly could be Tatiana. So who
Almost.
knows?
Oh, snap.
Ro couldn't do it this week, and I already asked him. He's behind the camera. He's right here. But by the way, guys, I want to let you guys know. Right now, we're in the perfect season of Halloween and horror. And the best way to celebrate horror, obviously, Halloween is coming out. I think it came out tonight.
It did.
Oh,
it did.
Came out
yeah.
tonight.
Yeah.
But for all of you horror fans who just kind of want to get in the mood, sometimes for me, I know I like watching those old classic horror movies to just get in that vibe. But tonight, on that hashtag show, on our Facebook page, and on Horror and Beyond, Ro and Migdalia are going to get you in that vibe, in that horror vibe. And that's going to come on right after this. So join them on at 10:30, actually, Pacific time.
So not right after, but
So a little bit after this. But join us on Facebook, because that's where they're going to be talking about all their favorite horror stuff and everything that's going on in the horror community right now, and maybe even bringing up some old classics. But join them right after this, a little bit after this.
Exactly. You got like 20 minutes.
got-
you got-
time to go
yeah.
make
Go get some
sandwich,
food,
use
right?
the
Get a
bathroom,
midnight snack.
Come back. Oh,
Drink
boom,
a
the
cup of
show's on.
coffee, stay up, and join us, guys. But thank you so much for joining us on this show. We'll see you guys next week. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button to stay up to date with everything trending.
And geek pop culture.
And check out our motherfucking website.
Oh! Got fired!